Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We are zooming in and focusing in on another viewer question that we got in, and I receive a ton of emails, correspondences, messages in my back pages, and I want to try to kind of group all the questions together. It's very difficult for me to respond and address to all my emails, so I apologize if I haven't gotten back to you. But I want to kind of zoom in here on the covert narcissist and the feeling of abandonment, the feeling of neglect. Yet the very difficult thing in quote-unquote proving it or expressing it when there is very difficult hardcore evidence. In other words, I receive a lot of messages from people who are going through divorce or child custody, and and trying to, or they're the kids are now grown and they're now moving into a different stage of their life, and they're trying to prove or present the fact of abandonment from this person. This person is withdrawing attention, support, guidance, nurturing, acknowledgement, validation. This person is just not affectionate. They're not there to really uphold their position as a parental figure. Yet they might be earning money. Yet they might be putting food on the table, a roof over the head, but they're not really there for them the way an emotional being in that relationship. And they feel very much it's like an abandonment issue, yet this person is present. And realize that the covert narcissist, part of the issue is a pathological sense of self-importance. And it's not so much an overwhelm that they can't participate in a relationship and kind of coming into the middle and having a very communicative power. It's just they don't feel the need to attend to people in a specific way. They're not perceptive, or they feel it's not their place. So oftentimes they'll explain it saying, well, it's not really my place to do this, or I'm always thought that I should never, touch this person, so I shouldn't be affectionate. I shouldn't kiss them. I should not have to guide them. They need to guide themselves. So, and oftentimes, based on information that you present, well, you need to be here to speak to them, to guide them, to do these things. Oftentimes, they just don't get it. They don't have the empathy. They don't have within their character to see their role in the way that you see their role. So there's kind of a hitting the mark when you're dealing with a covert narcissist. They don't feel that they have done anything wrong. They don't see what they are missing. They don't acknowledge it because they have just a real sort of narrow focus of self-importance, and feeling like if they just bring home the paycheck, that's really all that is needed. They don't get the larger picture, the bigger responsibility, that there's, two of us here at play. And so it's very much, a lot of people feel that it's an act because they have, time, energy, and attention to become self-absorbed. And really this is just where they're operating at. This is their personality and this is their character. And oftentimes they're very resistive and inflexible to change. So no matter what you do or how hard you try to work to get them to open up, they're going to have this sort of recluseness, aloofness, and what oftentimes people feel is very abandonment in an emotional sense, if not a physical sense. But it's a very difficult thing to prove. And I do receive a lot of people who are trying to basically, they're trying to prove this. And, it's basically, it's coming down to the shades of gray. It's basically saying, too much of the burden is on me. Too much of the pressure is on me to provide so much of the guidance, direction, nurturing, all the other intangibles here. And, this is why the relationship is out of balance. So really, it's very difficult to ascertain and describe because the abandonment is really in the deficit of lack. So it's not so much that they're not present. They can be present in certain ways, but there's a feeling of abandonment or just like surrender, that they are not going to or willing to direct or be present in the relationship with you or your child in a certain way that you're feeling is compatible, required, or necessary. And specifically that comes with, the positive validation and the communication, the acceptance, things of that nature. where, basically, you, as you're having a family, you need to mirror back and validate people, the children, especially when they're growing through those life stages, those developmental stages. You need to be there to, give that positive validation, give that guidance, and not control them, but to be basically there to be there within their developmental stages and their developmental needs for validation, acknowledgement, respect, love, helping them work through and navigate the various emotional stages that occur, and getting them from, to become independent, autonomous, self-assuring, and really learning to have confidence and really love within themselves, which means really the absence of fear and kind of the ability to take that out into the larger world. So it's very difficult to say, you've abandoned us emotionally, you've neglected us emotionally. It's very difficult to put that down on paper, yet you can really define it more in the positive, like this is what we need, this is what we require, and get that out and set that out and say, it would be better if, what I'm needing is, what our child requires is, what is beneficial is, and, how this is hurting is in this way, this deficit, your inattentiveness, your neglect, your retreating is causing this. It's causing too much, lack of structure. It's causing too much of a time vacuum where this person doesn't have this presence, in their life, and it's too much on me, and I can only take and shoulder on so much. Otherwise, it's too cumbersome. It's too burdensome. And oftentimes, the people who are in relationship with these people are very supportive, high energy, and directive, and so the covert narcissist just allows them to take on undue responsibility and influence in the relationship or the family, where they kind of just cruise along a little bit. I don't know if you want to call it autopilot, but just kind of on their own lane, in their own track. A lot of people have referred it as to being in their own lane, and maybe if you have insight into that, but it's a very interesting concept, I guess, that they're just kind of in another little parallel situation. So if you are feeling this way, if you're feeling that lack, oftentimes it is because a covert narcissist is kind of feeling more the self-absorption, and this is just the role that they have, and they limit where they're going to go and what they're going to give to people, because it's just is part of their self, is basically part of their composite, their personality makeup, and if this becomes more rigid or worse with time, it's important to be able to draw that out and show them the needs and really kind of write it out and give visual or actual explanations of what it looks like in the role, so that they can become, either have an ultimatum, this is where we need you to be accountable, responsible, or enact in this way, and if it's unnatural or forced or uncomfortable or you're not able, then we need to know this, and we need to get down to this, and we need to move on from here. So I hope these tools and videos help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.